What if one man, born in the 18th century, was given the power of the 20th? What if the thunder of cannons was replaced by the roar of engines? And what if the man who almost conquered Europe became truly unstoppable? What if Napoleon Bonaparte had tanks? Before we dive into this alternate history, if you enjoy powerful historical scenarios that challenge reality, consider subscribing. On this channel, we don't just tell history, we reshape it. Join the empire. And let's begin. It is the year 1805. Europe is trembling. Austria fears him. Prussia watches him carefully. Britain funds coalitions in the shadows. Napoleon commands the most disciplined army in the world. His soldiers are loyal. His generals are brilliant. His strategies are unmatched. But his army still marches on foot. His cannons are pulled by horses. His victories depend on timing, speed, and precision. Now imagine something impossible. One cold morning in France, massive armored machines appear before him, iron beasts, engine-powered, covered in thick steel. Early 20th century tanks, a technology the world would not invent for another 100 years. Napoleon studies them carefully. He walks around them. He touches the armor. He asks questions. How fast? How far? How strong? And then he smiles. Because he understands something no one else does. This is not just a weapon. This is the future. The first battlefield arrives quickly. Austrian forces prepare their classic formations. Long lines of infantry stand shoulder to shoulder. Cavalry units wait for the order to charge. Drums beat across the field. But instead of hearing horses, they hear engines. The ground begins to shake. Smoke rises. Steel monsters move forward slowly, confidently, unstoppable. Musket fire erupts across the field, but bullets bounce harmlessly off iron armor. Cannons fire desperately, yet the shells barely slow the advance. Cavalry charges with bravery and disappears beneath tracks of steel. Within hours, the Austrian army collapses, not because they lacked courage, but because they were fighting the future. News spreads across Europe. Wildfire. Panic begins to grow. Britain realizes that naval dominance will not save continental armies. Prussia mobilizes. Russia prepares for war. Coalitions form again, determined to stop the French emperor. But every battle ends the same way. Engines, smoke, shock. Napoleon no longer needs complex maneuvers. He no longer depends only on brilliant flanking strategies. Now he commands fear itself. Fortresses that once took weeks to siege fall in days. Defensive lines crumble in hours. Entire armies retreat before the first shot is fired. And then comes Waterloo. In our timeline, this was the battle that ended him. Rain slowed his artillery. British lines held firm. Prussian reinforcements arrived at the perfect moment. Napoleon fell, and history changed. But in this world, there is no waiting for reinforcements. There is no stable defensive line. As British infantry squares prepare for cavalry, they face something far worse. Tanks roll forward across muddy ground, unaffected by terrain. Cannon fire fails to stop them. Formations break. Command structures collapse. Waterloo does not become a symbol of defeat. It becomes the final proof of dominance. No exile, no island prison, no legend of a fallen emperor, only victory. But here is the deeper question. Could the 1800s truly sustain such power? Tanks require fuel, factories, engineers, supply chains, constant maintenance. The industrial systems of Napoleon's time were still developing. Without modern infrastructure, could he produce enough machines? Could he repair them? Could he maintain momentum? Perhaps his enemies would adapt. Perhaps Britain would accelerate its own industrial revolution even faster. Perhaps Europe would enter mechanized warfare a century early. Imagine World War level destruction in the early 1800s. Imagine cities transformed by industry decades sooner. Imagine a world where technology advances, not gradually, but violently. Or perhaps the greatest threat to Napoleon would not be enemy armies, it would be logistics. Because even the most powerful machine is useless without support. So what would happen? Would Napoleon unify Europe under one unstoppable empire? Would Britain fall? Would global wars begin earlier than ever imagined? Or would history find a way to balance itself? Because sometimes it is not the weapon that changes the world. It is the world that changes the weapon. And maybe, just maybe, Napoleon's greatest strength was not steel, it was strategy. So tell me, would tanks have made him immortal in history? Or would they have destroyed the very empire he built? If you enjoyed this journey into alternate history, subscribe and become part of Echoes of Empires, because next time, we might rewrite another empire.